My friends, I know you want to hear about the State of the Union last night. It was absolutely magnificent. We will get to it. Let's start with some news. By the way, Howard Riell, Riell Truth, item from Breitbart. In a span of 7 years, Veracruz authorities found 343 clandestine mass graves as part of investigations into thousands of individuals listed as missing. The sites are believed linked to cartel gunmen. In a report released by the Veracruz Attorney General's office, authorities revealed that from 2011 to 17, they discovered 343 clandestine mass graves in 102 different sites. In those mass graves, 225 bodies, 335 skulls, and 30,693 human bone fragments were unearthed. According to the report, authorities found 31 mass graves in 2017 containing victims of crimes that took place between 2010 and 2016. Former Veracruz Governor Javier Duarte served in office between 2010 and 2016. Duarte was singled out as having ignored cartel activities during the period. After his time in office, Duarte fled from Mexico until his arrest and eventual extradition to face organized crime charges, unquote. So, whether it's mass graves with hundreds of bodies and skulls and bone fragments, or it's severed heads, or it's shootings slopping over into American space, or it's bodies hanging from trees and from bridges, the Mexican people really have a lot to be proud of. I see now why so many Mexicans want to get the hell out of that toilet. Well, here's the corollary. We don't want them coming here and bringing their vicious crime, their inhuman violence, and their drugs, and their hands out. We need to shore up that wall. We could do it today. I mean, really. We could just say, no one comes across the border, and if you do, you'll be shot. What would happen? Yeah, you know what would happen. Magically, no one comes across the border. That's border security for adults, for grown-ups. But we continue to play this childish game. If you don't want the people coming in over the border illegally, you've got to be racist, right? Right. Keep telling yourself that as they keep exhuming more bodies, more skulls, human bone fragments. That's Mexico. I don't want that to be America. It's Wednesday. Riell Truth. We'll be back.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution.
American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228. Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
All right, my friends, admit it. You watched the State of the Union last night, and you were mesmerized by a man totally and completely in control, and then you were absolutely disgusted by those pinhead Democrats who sat there with unhappy faces, sitting on their hands, wouldn't stand, wouldn't applaud, even when the president reported that unemployment for black Americans is down the lowest ever. Same thing for Hispanics. Much more money in the economy. Good, 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 good. And the Democrats hate it because they hate America. Now, if you are a Democrat voter, you need to wrench your brain around. Do you really want to vote for people who hate you and hate this country and who are not hoping for the best for Americans? You want to vote for people who want to see bad things for America, so we'll come crawling to the government? If that's you, turn off my show now because I don't want you. But I digress. Here's Ann Coulter talking about State of the Union.
The president's speech last night, but now this will be the true test. Ann Coulter, of course, the brilliant columnist, best-selling author. Her book, In Trump We Trust, also one of the very best on Twitter. Follow Ann Coulter on Twitter, Facebook, and now Instagram. Go to her website, anncoulter.com. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Great. How are you, Mark Simone?
Very good. All right, let's see.
Well, unlike the entire media, even when I disagreed with the president, and there were several policies I disagreed with, that was a great speech, really well delivered. You know, after Republicans have been suffering for such a long time under presidents who cannot speak, cannot put three words together, he knows how to give a speech. He didn't stumble over his words. If I were doing, performance criticism, it went a little too long, and I don't think we needed 2 stories on North Korea. But no, he was really good. He hits the right points. He doesn't stumble over his words. He stresses the right words. It was really good.
You know, if you watch the Trump haters, the Tom Brokaw.
The entire media.
Yeah, but they were funny because that was over.
Oh my gosh.
How do you attack it? It was good. So they said, well, clearly he was reading a teleprompter. As if that's never happened before.
No, it was beautiful. For those of you who don't enjoy the president's tweeting, and as I've told you before, I actually love the president's tweeting. But no, this was, as you and I knew, and idiots pretended not to, no, tweeting is one thing. A rally speech is another thing. A State of the Union address is something else, and it was done beautifully. It was, incidentally, a bipartisan speech. It just shows how hateful the Democrats, and really, I think, out of touch, both the Democrats and the media are. I mean, I'm sure you, like me, switched immediately to MSNBC when the speech was over.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was hilarious, but then on further reflection, wow, they cannot give him credit for anything. A nice speech that surely both Democrats and Republicans can agree with 80% of that speech. Like I say, there were some things I didn't like either. I didn't like the amnesty. I didn't like any policy he was talking about whenever the camera flashed to Ivanka. And I don't want war with North Korea, so I think I would have cut it off soon after CJ. But still, most of it was things that you would think both parties would agree with, and their one complaint would be, well, these aren't partisan issues. I don't know why Trump thinks, why the president thinks the Pledge of Allegiance and God and country and flag and family. I don't know why he thinks that's just a Republican issue. So yes, I agreed with everything he said. Oh, no, that's not their position. Their position is God, family, country. That's divisive.
Hey, the rebuttal speech, those things never work. It's always a disaster. But this Doogie Howser Kennedy kid, he was awful.
It's like, for the young people in the audience, we used to have these photocopy machines. And when you photocopy something over and over and over again, the farther you get from the original, I think the moment they got away from John F. Kennedy, and Bobby, I guess, but John F. Kennedy, I mean, from seeing the tapes of him, he was charming and he was funny. He was kind of Obama-like in that way. The farther you get away, wow. There were a few things I couldn't tweet. I was, of course, live tweeting the State of the Union. One of the things I couldn't tweet was when I was watching, this was when I was watching the response to the State of the Union is, we really should have cut off immigration before the Irish. I could do without any of the Kennedys.
Well...
And throw in Justice Brennan. Teddy Kennedy and Justice William Brennan have probably done more damage to this country than any two Americans.
Yeah, they started this wild, out-of-control immigration.
Yeah, and Brennan invented anchor babies in a 1982 footnote of an opinion. He just invents it out of whole cloth. Now they act like it's, a precious constitutional principle written into the Constitution by James Madison. No, it was just invented out of whole cloth by Justice Brennan, that slipped in a 1982 opinion in a footnote, no less, and Kennedy with the 1965 Immigration Act. But they've thrown all in on changing the country. So Democrats and MSNBC, I didn't see any CNN. I wanted to go straight to the funnest station immediately after this speech. They have no interest in winning normal Americans.
The regular NBC is now as bad as MSNBC. I was watching the coverage begin at 9 o'clock, and the most biased guy in the world, Lester Holt, goes to the biggest Trump hater, Brokaw, who opens by, right now it's a good period for the president, but he opens by saying, it's an embattled president who's under investigation.
Well, that was my favorite thing all night. MSNBC, their big complaint, which does, I think, indicate that it was a fantastic speech. If this is the best thing they can come up with.
My friends, it's pretty funny when the media won't report anything accurately, isn't it? Doesn't it make you giggle? Isn't it funny? No, it's not funny. It's sad and it's tragic that truth has become a commodity and lies have become a currency. That makes me sick. Let's take a break and we'll be back with more Riell Truth.
Power has been providing a reliable electrical power system in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Subtainer capabilities is modifying emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design systems, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com.
The Lord remains the counsel of the nation's domestic. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. The people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America's News Network.
All right, guys, I am back. Let's go to another truth teller, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, formerly the White House. Now he is today he was being interviewed on Breitbart News Daily about the State of the Union. Let's hear what he has to say.
Gorka,
the Trump speech, but that one element sticks in the craw. But I don't think the game is over yet, Alex.
yeah, I don't think so either. I just don't know why this is being elevated at the level it was when the president spoke, and I went through this at greater length earlier in the speech, or earlier in the show, about how he really does walk through quite clearly that the threat of illegal immigration, it has to do with drugs, it has to do with gangs, it has to do with jobs, it has to do with wages, it has to do with murder. And he goes through all this in quite dramatic fashion using very powerful anecdotes with audience members, and then he says, and by the way, these laws actually don't matter, you guys can all stay, and you can even become citizens, and even your parents can become citizens. Like, I don't get it.
Well, yeah, I mean, this goes against the hard line that Mr. Immigration Stephen Miller has been touting since the very early stages of the campaign. Remember, we have to remind ourselves, and perhaps the White House as well, the first substantive policy issue that candidate Trump ever spoke about was immigration. It was Jeff Sessions who was the first senator to endorse him for a reason, because he was Mr. Immigration on the Hill. So this is, again, it undermines the key message of the whole Trump campaign, because there is a philosophical message. It's not just a bumper sticker. It's not just MAGA. Whether it's the economy, whether it's ISIS, whether it's immigration, the key philosophical concept behind everything the president represented as a candidate and represents the president today is national sovereignty, and giving people here illegally full U.S. citizenship goes against that concept of national sovereignty. So again, I don't have a good explanation for it. I have been told by somebody who should know that this is a ploy to make the Democrats reveal themselves for who they are. Let's just wait and see.
Okay, well, and I think that the consensus among this audience is as concerned as we are. I think we will wait and see, and let's see if the president has got it correct. Okay, so a couple of things, Dr. G, that were interesting in terms of what were the priorities of the president last night, because a lot of stuff that were crucial to his agenda really didn't show up. He kind of gave a passing nod to China, which has been something where he's been a leader. He gave no reference of radical Islamic terrorism or jihad, which I think will be a big disappointment to some people in, let's say, the Frank Gaffney orbit and a lot of the readers of Breitbart News. But he was very tough on North Korea and very persuasive on North Korea. So there's a lot of highs, a lot of lows on the national security side. Give me your overall assessment as a resident expert.
I think you're right. The balance was more domestic than international yesterday, with some exceptions, such as that incredible moment with the North Korean dissident holding up his crutches. But for me, it wasn't the American are dreamers. People are taking away the Americans are dreamers too as the summary of yesterday's speech. But there was another sentence where he talked about the key themes of his administration, and he talked about the dignity of the American worker, so the dignity you get from a hard day's work, safety for your family from things like MS-13. And the third one, which perhaps was the most powerful, was pride again in our nation, in our flag, a direct stake through the heart of the NFL demonstration.
Yeah, let me read some of these because these are very important, and I noticed this too. I have my own example, but we want every American to know the dignity of a hard day's work. We want every child to be safe in their home at night. We want every citizen to be proud of this land that we love. That's a great line. Another one: a people whose heroes live not only in the past but all around us, defining hope, pride in the American way. They work in every trade. They sacrifice to raise families. They care for our children at home. They defend our flag abroad. They're strong moms and brave kids. They're firefighters, police officers, border agents, medics, and Marines. I mean, these are truly just very subtle digs at the NFL kneelers. I think it's pretty crystal clear here. I loved a line which was the lead headline at Breitbart News for a while last night. Together we can reclaim our building heritage. We will build gleaming new roads, bridges, highways, railways, and waterways across our land. And we will do it, get this, I love this part, with American heart, American hands, and American grit. Great line there. And this is pure Americana, Dr. G.
No, it's absolutely. I mean, it's Norman Rockwell in a speech, and not only that, it's incredibly powerful for what it did to show the Democrats for who they were. Because what do they do when these things are being mentioned? They're sitting on their hands. When he talks about the lowest Black African unemployment since records began, and the Black Caucus is sitting down. I mean, this is what happened last night. The president reaffirmed the American way. He reaffirmed the American dream. And what was
my friends, there we go. That's worth stopping and talking about for a minute. Lowest Black American unemployment numbers ever since they've been taking the numbers. More African Americans that work in America today, and the Black Caucus in Congress sat silent, not smiling, not applauding, not standing, but showing everyone that they are whores. Don't think for a minute you got to be white to be a whore. You can be black, you can be Asian, you can be anything. And they showed conclusively they don't care about Black Americans. They care about their own sorry asses. Black Americans are doing fabulously thanks to President Trump, and they hate it. They're Democrats, and so they hate it when Americans prosper. Didn't used to be that way, but it is now. So come to grips with reality. Let's go back to Sebastian Gorka.
Identity politics being reaffirmed by the left.
Excuse me, what policies are those? That's a real question. I don't hear Democrats talking about policies. They want criminals not to have to pay for their crimes. They want to bring people in illegally. They want to flood the country with poor people. That I understand. I know they want to do that. What other policies do the Democrats have? What plans for the future do they have? How do they plan on solving problems? Well, here's their platform, the way I understand it. You ready? Racism! If anybody needs me to repeat that, I will, because it's a complex thing. The Democrat platform for 2018 and beyond is racism! And so once again, for the umpteenth time, I'm going to ask my friends out in Radio Land listening to the show right now, are you one of those Coloradans who voted Hillary? Are you a registered Democrat? And if you are, do you enjoy watching your Democrat representatives hating America? Unhappy that unemployment is down. Unhappy that we've added from $7 to $8 trillion to our economy in the last year. Are you unhappy that over 70% less illegal immigration just because Trump is president? Are you unhappy with the fact that the VA is now taking better care of our veterans? Are you unhappy because America finally acknowledged officially that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel? If these things make you unhappy, I hope you will write to us from whatever country you end up in. Because you clearly don't like living here in America, and you don't wish America any good. If you're a Democrat, you're against America. And if that's the case, get the hell out. Lowest Latino unemployment ever recorded. Over 2 million new jobs added in 1 year. Trillions of dollars coming in from outside the United States. Companies returning, handing out big fat bonus checks to people, and the Republicans are making it happen, and Donald Trump is making it happen, and the Democrats hate it. The Democrats want you, my friends, you, to be poor and helpless and defenseless, because then you'll get on your hands and knees and you'll crawl to the government and say, please, save me. It's not why America was founded. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, it's up to us to forge our way in life. I don't want the government telling you what to do, how to do it. The Democrats do. So when Donald Trump drains the swamp, he's kicking out the phony, baloney, corrupt politicians who've been cancerously ravaging the body politic in America for decades. The Democrats hate it because they are the swamp. Just like the FBI and the CIA, they are the swamp. Just like the rhinos, Jeff Flake, McCain, others, they are the swamp. The media, they're the swamp, and that's why they all hate Trump, because Trump is fighting for you and for me. We'll be back.
From BioAge.com, and now getting just one nutritional supplement each day.
Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design systems, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963 or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. And the word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. I am still Howard Riell. We were just talking about the swamp, as in draining the swamp, as in why the swamp hates Donald Trump. Here's Monica Crowley at the recent David Horowitz Restoration Weekend in Palm Beach, Florida, talking about why the swamp hates Trump.
At lunch today, we had the great fortune to hear from Victor Davis Hanson, who was talking about those of us who have been repeatedly judged for support of Donald Trump by self-righteous, self-described anti-Trump superiors. Call to mind something that happened to me last July. I had an exchange with a Hollywood athlete, and no, it was not Harvey Weinstein. Washington, D.C. It's everywhere. And it's so daunting. It is a tsunami that comes and crushes anybody in its path. It's elected officials on both sides. It's the establishment on both sides. Their staffs, the media, federal bureaucracies, special interests, lobbyists, even some in the deep state who are supposed to only be focused on America's external threats. And even some in law and law enforcement who are only supposed to be interested in applying equal justice under the law. They've all become corrupted. And this ruling class has dined out on this rotten status quo for a hell of a long time. Until now.
My friends, think about this. I've been doing the show over 9 years. 9 years ago, if I had said that, what would you have said? You would have said something like, "Where's your tinfoil hat there, Mr. Riell? You're a conspiracy theorist, Mr. Riell. You're out of your mind, Mr. Riell. You believe in these dark conspiracies?" Well, here it is 9 years later, and it's out in the open. It's out in the open. The deep state, the swamp, call it what you will. It's out in the open. Nobody can fight it. No one can defeat it. Except Donald Trump is doing it with our help. So we got to keep helping him, right?
Because finally, this country has elected someone not of, by, and for the swamp. Someone who thinks that nothing and does not fear them.
All right, guys, we're about to hit a commercial break. Maybe I'll come back with Monica Crowley in the next segment. Maybe I will flip it over to Dick Morris, who seems to have some inside information on what's happening at the FBI. All these people you can find online, my friend. Monica Crowley, Ann Coulter, Sebastian Gorka, Dick Morris. Look for them on YouTube. Watch their videos. Get yourselves an education. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Cook.
Welcome to
Well, it had to happen. When Colorado legalized marijuana, most people thought
we'll
free air
append it
was
to this
marijuana
video. We'll go to
Also, it was legalized on January the 1st, 2014. The same day we opened our new location at 4565 Kippen Street, 1.5 blocks south of I-70. There are 50,000 cars a day passing in front of our new location on Kippen Street, and both of them thought we were a marijuana dispensary. So we changed the name of our retail store to New Genesis Health, but we kept the name of our green herb supplement. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372. And be sure to listen to the Healthy Nature Show with Linda Phillips every Tuesday at 1 p.m.
Now this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent recent Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." one anywhere is more noble, righteous, courageous than our kind of big armed forces. These brave men and women put the bill for our freedom every day, and the military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associate at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
All right, my friends, I'm going to go back to Monica Crowley and talking about why the swamp hates Donald Trump. But hang on one second. Didn't you hear me say yesterday that Joseph Farah of WorldNet Daily was going to be my guest today? Yeah, you did. And if you want to know why I don't have more guests on my show, this is why.
Yeah, make America great again.
All right, hang on, Monica. We got a commercial break coming up. Hold that thought. Because everything this woman is saying is absolutely true. And if you're beginning to get the idea that Trump is a hero of mythic proportions, well, I hate to tell you, that's exactly what he is. And if you're a person of faith like I am, you know things don't happen by accident. You probably believe, as I do, that God sent the right man at the right time to do the right job. And that's what we're seeing. Let's take a break and we'll come back and wrap it up here on Riell Truth.
Taking 1, 2, 5 or more nutritional supplements. Please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can find. Women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioH.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with more of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain. With focus, clarity, if you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has zero toxicity and it's made for you and versatile. And order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioH.com. Spelled BioHE.com. BioH.com. Or call 877-288-9116. BioH. Organic.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Elizabeth Locker plan reminds us that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Locker plant located at 366 Grand Street in the Wood. Serving our area since 1943, specializing in naturalized HB and pork and complete custom processing. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240.
All right, guys, we got 4 minutes left. Let's listen to some more of this excellent analysis from Monica Crowley.
Mrs. Clinton, the Clinton campaign, the Clinton machine, the far left, the Democrat establishment, the Republican establishment, Hollywood, the Academy, and the media. And yet, despite that unprecedented assault, he won that war too. On election night, I was on Fox News and I was surrounded by people who had mocked and dismissed Donald Trump for the previous 18 months, including as recently as earlier that day. And I was on camera at 3 o'clock in the morning when the race was called for him, and I'll never forget, Brett Baird looked at me first, because I was the first person 2 days after Donald Trump came down that escalator and told Bill O'Reilly, stop laughing, do not underestimate him, he's going to pull the whole thing off. So because I made that prediction so early, Brett Baird looked at me first and he said, Monica, thoughts? And I didn't look at him, I looked at America. And I said, this is the most astonishing political event of our lifetime. Maybe ever. But what we now know is at that moment, the swamp began its third and most serious counterattack. Since January 20th, the forces arrayed against Donald Trump include all of those I just mentioned, plus the permanent federal bureaucracy, the deep state, the international community, and the so-called independent counsel, ratcheting up the pressure on this president in ways we have never seen before, deeply dangerous ways that really imperil this great nation. That is not an overstatement. The ruling class has weaponized political opposition in truly lethal ways. Leaking state secrets? Check. Spreading continuous lies? Check. Torpedoing his agenda in Congress? Check. Infecting the popular culture? Check. Poisoning the minds of our youth? Check. Undermining confidence in our common values and institutions? Check. Overt campaigns questioning the president's legitimacy and mental fitness? Check. Open talk about removing the duly elected president from office? Check. Instigating violence by aligning with and supporting radical, violent groups like Antifa? Check. And by the way, that's just George Soros and his minions on an average Wednesday. This is what this president is up against.
That's why.
Donald Trump was strong.
Thank you, Monica. That's why we have to do our part to support him. And I don't just mean turning up in 2020 and voting for him again. I mean every day, sharing articles about what a great job he's doing, calling our local media and telling them, calling our local, state, federal politicians, telling them, send messages to the White House telling them you appreciate what they're doing, letters to the editor of the newspapers, call into shows like Riell Truth. It all helps. Every bit of it helps. We are living in historic times, and we're facing historic dangers. You just heard Monica Crowley listing them for you. We've got to save ourselves. And we are saving ourselves. I'll be back tomorrow, my friends, with more Riell Truth. Hasta lumbago. See you then.